Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Now today we're going to check out a cool band, a new band to the channel. These guys found out about the show by watching the noise rock video that I did the other week, which was 3 absolutely superb bands. One of my favourite shows that I've actually put out. I've even watched it myself again a couple of times because it was so fun to do. Just a really great show. And they love the bands on there and they wanted to get on the show as well. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to do. So I hooked them in with that one nicely. Says here it's the first track of a new EP that's going to be released on June the 30th, so we get a sneak peek at that. The band is called Melted Bodies, which is a cool name, and if you look at their artwork as well, it's all about melted bodies and body parts and stuff, which I like. It's cool. The track's called The Avalanche. Before we get into that, I just want to have a look at this on their website here. They've got some really cool merchandise. Load of it's sold out, unfortunately, but it looks like they did a bunch of actual custom one-off t-shirts. I really like that. It's a cool way to interact with the fans and have exclusive merch and things like that. I'd like to do it myself in some way, but being here in Portugal, it's not the best place to send out packages. But yeah, I really like that. Really cool designs as well. Cool stuff on there. Now, they sent over the track, The Avalanche, but I've been looking on their channel and they've got actually a bunch of tracks on their channel, and they've got another one on there which really caught my ear that I want to listen to the rest of. So we're going to look at that one as well. These guys sound to me like experimental, avant-garde, sludgy, doomy, noise rocky maybe as well, spoken word and stuff in there. So I'm really interested to see what these guys are about. So let's check out The Avalanche.
Sensitive man, you only want a man that's sensitive to your needs. You're what they call one of them pretty girls, which just means you live in a different world. Give me that and give me this. You'll never feel alone, cause there's always someone next in line to give you a kiss. And I'm standing right beside you, screaming in your ear. You look away, you pretend not to hear. You're surrounded by yes men and perverts and B-list celebrities and gossiping bitches and rocker boys and industry sluts. They all see you as a little piece of meat for them to chew and spit, chew and spit, chew and spit, chew and spit.
Big sound. Lots of layers to listen to. At the end of that one. That was a 5-minute track, man. I didn't think we'd got through all of that one. Super nice. Very cool vibe to this one, particularly sludgy, groovy, undertow, distortion and rough vocal, spoken word with the sassiness and the lyrics and stuff. Really cool. And then just breaking into that big, doomy sludge, but also with a noise element to it as well. Scratching guitars and feedback and kind of just noise within the mix. So not just straight up sludge and doom, actually creating a crescendo and a chaos within the music at the same time at that point. Very, very nice. I like that a lot. A lot to listen to at those points as well, because you had the thick bass, which had a nice grisly tone as well. A thick guitar, the scratching and the feedback and stuff, the vocal with the effects on it as well, the drums and the cymbals. So there was really a load of layers at those points to listen to, put your ears to, and feel the depth from. I enjoyed it a lot. Very, very cool. Great vibe on this one, particularly is what I would say. Just sassy and sludgy. Nice. Now, I was looking on their page, as I said, and I saw this other track, which was the other one they released 6 months ago. So it's not going to be off this new EP, be off the last one, I guess. It's a long one as well. It's 7.5, but this one sounds really dope. Got a cool video to it as well. So we're just going to spin this because I want to get to know these guys a lot more. Here we go. Oh, this one's called The Inevitable Fork. Better get it on the screen. Nice bass tone. Even now there's like 4 or 5 layers of sound going on. Really cool. Sounds fat. Great cymbal sound.
I'm told it's now or never. My shadow it's now or never. My shadow, my shadow.
Loads of great layers of sound to listen to in this music. All these hair and teeth and tongues. It's a disgusting video, but that's a really cool visual. At the end of that one. Man, that was 7 minutes. Absolutely flew by for me. Looking at teeth and hair and tongues in milk and God knows what. Really cool video, great visual. Nice colors and stuff in there, really dope, man. If you've got to the end of this video, you'll know these guys are nice, and I really think they're very, very nice. There's only one tip I want to give these guys, because everything they're doing is super dope, experimental, sludgy, rocky, noisy, original, different. You know, we've checked out thousands and thousands of bands on this channel, and there's not too many bands come through the door that sound like this and have this vibe, really. There's bands that kind of sound like this, but they don't have the vibe. These guys are dripping in vibe. And the only tip I want to say to them is, particularly in this track, I just didn't want to hear a clean vocal. Because there's so much effects on the vocal the rest of the time, I thought it was a bit jarring, actually, to have a clean vocal in there. I think they should have just dripped it in reverb, still give it a bit of a fuzz even. I would just never have a clean vocal, a raw vocal in this kind of music, because it needs the effects, it needs the noise, it needs the distortion, it needs reverbs and delays and, you know, stereoizing and layering and all those things on it to sit it with the rest of the music and give it its vibe. And I think when you take it out of that and gave it, and there was that clean section, I was like, no, I didn't like it, you know. It kind of took me out of the vibe that they had created for the rest of the track, is what I'm kind of getting at there. So that would be my only tip, is if you're ever going to do a clean section without distortion on the vocal, say, still have reverbs, layering, delays, sit it back in the mix so it feels like it's planted within the music. Because there were some sections as well in the first track, I'll say, where the vocal was very loud, and what I think they were going for at that stage was to make it feel like the person was really close to the mic, so almost like whispering straight down your ears. And that's difficult to do with distortion, because the distortion automatically kind of pushes it back. It feels like it pushes it back with the gain. So So I think what they'd have to do if they're trying to go for that style as well is really record very, very close to the mic like that, and then try and EQ it in a way so that it really sounds like it's close to your ears. That's my only tip on these guys, and that's really nitpicking. That was just my only thing, because I was so engrossed in the vibe and kind of on board with it all, that those sections that were kind of jarring for me, and took me out of the immersion of the sound, I was like, oh man, they need to sort that out. So that's the only thing. Just really, really minor things. Just always, I'll just say, always make sure the vocal is dripping in some kind of effect on whatever section, because it suits the music. It sits it in the rest of the music, because the bass sounds amazing, grisly, dirty, sludgy. You can always hear it through the guitars, and the guitars sound great. Loved it on this one as well. The panicky chord stuff up top to create that tension as well, and separate it from the sludge. It was more high up and stabby. Great drumming, great cymbals. I really like the vocals and the lyrics and the spoken word and the vibe of all that as well. So man, I'm really on board with these guys, and I can tell that they're really nice for an experimental band as well. What I mean by that is a lot of experimental bands who are trying to think outside the box, and you can tell these guys are purposely trying to think outside the box. That either works or it doesn't, and you kind of, it's a bit hit or miss. These guys have hit it right, and captured the vibe that sucks you in. It's an immersive vibe, it feels right, it's authentic, and it doesn't feel forced or anything like that. So they've done a nice job with that one. Experimental can be touch or go, and these guys have done it nicely. So I'm really pleased that these guys have gone on board with the channel after watching the noise rock video, and I'm actually really getting into noise rock just lately because of these kind of sludgy bands. It's almost like noise rock and sludge rock / metal are all in a similar boat, and I really, really dig it, man. You just got to find the right bands. There's a lot of noise rock that does absolutely nothing for me, and I just don't get on board with the vibe. And then there's bands that come like this through, and you just really feel it nicely. Dope. Hope these bands keep putting over their stuff. They've got a new EP coming out. I'm sure they'll have some more videos whenever they put that out. Hopefully they'll send them over, because I'll be keen to listen to more of these guys. My kind of vibe, sludgy, dirty, cool as hell, and you just feel cool as hell listening to it. Very nice. Hope you enjoyed that today, guys. We'll see you around tomorrow. Cheers. Bye.